That's good. All right, Coach, let's open up. Opening statement.
Man, you know, first off, to God be the glory. All praise to the Most High. Man, it was a fun game to be a part of. Hats off to VCU. Man, they've had two really good wins on the road. Man, you go to Nova, beat Nova, and then come in here and get the best of us. Man, hats off to them. Man, really good team. But regardless of the outcome, man, I'm really proud of this group. Man, it's a group that nobody gave a chance, you know, to start the season. I don't even think they didn't even take enough time to figure out who was on our roster. They just, you know, picked us wherever they were going to pick us and, you know, said whatever they were going to say. But as I said to those guys in the locker room, man, you know, there's nobody in here that should be hanging their heads because as fun as it was to cut down those nets, and I told them in a few weeks, you know, they'll get their championship rings because they're champions. But the journey is the gift. From where we started to where we finished, right? They stayed true to each other. They stayed committed to each other. That is the gift. They created lifelong bonds, right? Great memories together. That that ring will rust. That net will end up in some box somewhere in their house, and they'll never know what it is. But Chris will be sitting around, you know, however many years from now, and I wonder what Kasean doing. Kasean will be sitting around wondering, man, where is Shelton? You know, and they'll jump on the group chat on Instagram or on their phones or whatever it may be. The journey is the gift, and I'm just, man, I'm so thankful and grateful, you know, that I was able to coach this group and make memories with them.
All right, we'll open up for questions for the players.
Chris, talk a little bit about being able to kind of in the second half, you know, just take over the game and keep things going forward as you did.
Yeah, that's all credit. This man right here, right beside me, and then my teammates, man, just spacing the floor out. We were shooting the mess out the ball lately, so there's a lot of space on the court. And, man, the ball was just going in tonight. The game was just going my way, so thanks to teammates.
The hardest thing about the game is the finality now, that it's over. Has it sunk in yet for both of you?
No.
No, it hasn't.
When you look at the game, and I asked Coach, VCU coach, that was big boy basketball out there tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, like in the first half, there was a few fouls that wasn't called, and the ref came and told me, he said, man, Youngblood, I'm gonna let y'all play tonight. And that's when it hit me, like, man, this is big boy basketball. This is postseason basketball. The refs told us before the game, man, they're here to watch y'all, not us. So we're gonna let y'all play today, and they did that.
Chris, you went down hard once. Did you get an arm to defend? What happened?
Oh, I think it's called whiplash, where your neck just, so, yeah, that's what happened.
What, bro?
My neck,
Your neck just kind of.
yeah, it just like went one way too fast.
Sure.
And I heard something pop, and I got scared, and I was like, yeah.
That's when you stayed on the floor for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Trace, you came here this year with Coach Amir and you know took a chance on kind of trying to revive a program and you know doing what you guys did this year. What are you most thankful for about this year and coming from Kennesaw to USF?
Thankful for the relationships I built throughout the year, coming to practice every day with these boys, road trips, plane rides, dinners. That's probably one thing that stuck out to me the most. I had the most fun this year. It wasn't even about the basketball. The basketball, that was fun. The winning is fun, of course, but the relationships I built throughout these past 8-9 months I've been here, that was the most important part.
Anything else for players?
Yeah, Youngblood, James Hill with ABC7. This team, Coach talked about it, the journey, and you just talked about it, the dinners, the plane rides, the camaraderie. Just talk a little bit about what you'll take away from this year. I know it's still fresh, but the NIT, one of the greatest teams in this program history.
One thing I'll probably take away from this year is if you respect this game as a team, as a unit, man, the game's going to give you a lot of good stuff. And that's what it gave us this year, man. We made history throughout all this year with these group of guys. So that's probably the biggest thing, and making sure everybody's on one page and respecting this game at all times.
Anything else for players?
KP, kind of the same thing I asked Chris, man. You bounced around, you know, looks like you found a home here. Fan base has welcomed you with open arms, and you know, what's been the best part of it about this year for you in this new spot?
Yeah, kind of the same thing CY said, man. It's the relationships we build, you know, it's for a lifetime, you know. We're in here together every day, you know, spending most of the time together. These are my brothers, these are my family, you know, every day when I'm not home with my real family. So, you know, just being able to build the bonds that we've had, you know, like you said, the going out to eat and the plane rides, the bus rides, we're always together. So, you know, it hasn't really hit me yet, you know, not being with these guys every single day, you know, for most of the day. So, but yeah, I think the relationship's kind of the same thing CY said, is for a lifetime, so.
KP, the NIT, most basketball teams are at home, but you guys had an opportunity in postseason play. Just talk a little bit about playing in March, and the fans are here, they love you, and you guys have a great opportunity.
Yeah, so no, it was a great experience, man. March is always, you know, the best of the best. You know, every team, any night, you know, they come out and have a great game. You know, VCU played a hell of a game tonight. You know, it shot the mess out of the ball. You know, so just it's always a privilege to play in this late of the year of the season. You know, we were the only American team left standing. You know, we were champions. We were the last team playing. So, I mean, it was a great experience overall. That was a great game VCU played. Coach even said it in the locker room after the game. That was how, you know, the first round of a March Madness game would feel like. You know, so you know, kudos to VCU. Played a great game, and you know, it was a great experience overall through this March.
So both of you guys, the three of you guys sitting at the table there, probably got the loudest ovations before the game from the fans there at the YC. What have you learned about how basketball can bring together not just your team, but also the community? Because you've seen the groundswell, you felt the groundswell there in the building. What have you noticed as a sport, the impact that it can have on the Tampa Bay area?
Well, I'll start, I guess. You know, in the beginning of the season, as you can see, you know, the fan support wasn't how it ended tonight, you know. So, you know, I think what we've done here is, you know, all due to the work we've done, all due to the coach right here, you know, every day keeping us on our square, and, you know, we appreciate the fans growing more and more. You know, it's been a rut here the last few years of, you know, not winning as much. So for us to, you know, come and change that around, we appreciate the fans coming more and more as they trusted us through the season. And, you know, I think, you know, the community rallied, you know, behind us, and, you know, had a hell of a fan support, you know, for most of the year. So, no, we appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. Like the days leading up to the game, you see all the hype about the game being sold out in 10, 15 minutes as the tickets come out. So that's a good feeling. That's something to look forward to. I guess extra motivation for practice, weights, and even during the game. So that's one of the best feelings that we can ever have. We appreciate it.
Anything else for the guys?
You guys talk about the lessons on and off the court that you've led with this season, but what has been the greatest lesson that you have taken from Coach this season?
Oof.
Too many.
That's too many.
Too many.
Just choose one, your favorite.
I'll say being where your feet are. Coach stressed to us all year, man. We can't look ahead. You know, it's always right where we are right now. So I'm in the interview right now. That's where I'm at. But, you know, we're not looking ahead. But, you know, just being where your feet are and trying to be the best where you are.
Mine would be, no matter the circumstances, like, just stay true to who you are. Like, 'cause that's what's gotten us success throughout the season. So no matter what the circumstance is, with a game, a practice, anything, stay true to who you are and just stick with each other, because that's who you got on the court at the end of the day, just each other.
Anything else for the guys? All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank you, fellas.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you.
You good?
Coach, 4 of 20 from 3, is that the worst you've shot all year from that?
No, one of those games earlier was worse than that. I think it was the Central Michigan game. If it wasn't worse than that, it was like what and what, you know. But I thought, and it's a little bit, man. It's like, you know, you thought you played your last home game when you played Tulane, right? But we're fortunate that we had the opportunity to play at home, but again, man, you give credit to VCU, but you finished the season on the road at Tulsa, then you go to Fort Worth for 2 games, and then you come back home and you play in front of that amazing crowd. You get caught up in it. It's hard not to. I thought in the first half, we, for the first time in a long, long time, man, we got selfish. Where we didn't let the ball move as smoothly as we normally do. And we took rushed threes in the first half. We were 1 for 11 in the first half. We were 3 for 9 in the second half. And it's because we got ball energy. We got ball movement that we wanted. And I thought, if we could have put 2 halves together like that, it would have been, I think the outcome would have been different.
Coach,
It just
when you
seemed
look
like
back
by,
on when you look back on the season, no one expected you to be here. Maybe the only people in the country that expected you to be here were you and your players.
100%.
How important was it to get a monumental jump from where you were last year to where you are this year?
It was important. It was really important because where we feel like we want to go as a program, you still got to take the right steps. I've said this before, but I've never said this in here. It's something to be said about the people who will take the proper steps to get where they're going, right? Like sometimes it's shortcuts. Sometimes you just might fall into something, But I always say, man, I'm so thankful for the route I took in coaching 2 years as a GA. But I always say I skipped. Like I always say, man, I skipped a step. I never had to be a director of player development, right? But when I went back to being an assistant at Murray State at my first job, man, I had to do everything. Like literally, I did gear. I did. I never had to do like post-game meals, but I did our end-of-the-year banquets. I had to coordinate our end-of-the-year banquets. I'm talking about, when I say coordinate, I'm talking about food, tablecloth, centerpieces, the highlight tape, and I took pride in it. And so I say it's no job within the program that's beneath me, especially as the head coach. So it's something to be said about people who take the proper steps to get where they go. And for this group, for this program, we have to take the proper steps. If we would have we win the regular season championship, right? I do believe we took the proper steps to get there because we worked our faces off to get there. But let's just say it turned out different and we did make the tournament. Normally what happens is players, you get complacent. Coaches sometimes can get comfortable. Fan bases can get comfortable and expect, the world. Well, we had to take our lumps. We had special things happen. But to go through this experience of playing postseason basketball for the first time, and I'm not trying to take away from the CBI, but, man, I'm not trying to take away from the CBI, right? But for the first time, I say meaningful games in March, like, man, you got to go through those, like these type of experiences to get to that opportunity and really be able to cherish and be grateful for that opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament, because that's rare. That doesn't come along very often.
It seems like Chris's force of will just kept y'all in the game, especially late. Could you just speak to his performance tonight?
Man, everybody else may be somewhat surprised. Like, man, but if you watch Chris Youngblood work every day, if you watch him show up, how he takes care of his body, how he takes care of his books, right? We're talking about a 3.0, 3.5. At 3.5 may have dropped a little bit, but we're talking about a really good student. That's a really good player that has great habits. So, when we couldn't quite get the ball movement going the way we wanted, it's like, all right, now I got to coach, and now I got to put the ball in the hands of the guys that I know can make things happen. And Chris, I thought he did a great job of not only scoring, but again, where is he at? He ended up having 2 assists, but like his 3 to Jaden Reed that cut it to 2, that was bigger than any basket he scored. So I'm not surprised by Chris's performance because Chris is a dude. He's a pro.
You just mentioned Pryor's performance as well.
Yeah.
Double-double, and he
Yeah.
had like 9 points in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. I keep saying, man. I promise y'all I'm trying to be humble, but man, it was a joke that kid wasn't on the all-conference team.
Yeah.
Like, who averages 14-9 on a regular season champion, and they're not on the all-conference team? It's crazy, you know. But you know what? We'll put that in the blender, and we'll use it as motivation, and you know, help them get better, and you know, we'll go from there. But I thought, you know, his energy, I thought in the second half, he played a lot harder, and it's why he had 9 points, but like I'm talking about the 10 rebounds, you know. But I thought his 10 rebounds were huge.
You mentioned Jaden Reed getting the three from Youngblood. He
Yeah.
kind of kept you afloat for a stretch there in the second half.
Yeah.
Just, you know, what about him and his ability to make big plays in clutch moments? You know, obviously, you know, you're going to have to fill that starting point guard role full time with Jose graduating, but just, or I'm sorry,
You know, who are we gonna fill? What you mean we got to fill it? It's filled.
with JR.
Well, he's got to earn it now.
Sure, but what about JR that allows him to be able to come up in those clutch moments like that?
JR is a winner, guys. You know, JR played at Lou High in New York, and they played for a national championship, a national high school championship. He's a winner. He played with the PSA Cardinals. You know, Coach Terrence Williams, like, man, it's one of the best grassroots programs, you know, in all of the country. Like, he's a winner. You know, so again, just like it doesn't surprise me with Chris, I've seen him in those situations before. I trust him. Again, when we couldn't get the ball movement that I like, you know, now let's put it in his hands because he can constantly get paint touches. And I thought he did a really good job of getting those paint touches. Where is his line? His line is here. You know, we missed some shots. He probably should have had about 5 or 6 assists in that one turnover that he had. The one turnover he had, he was just going too fast. But I trust him. I see the work he puts in every day. And again, I'm going to just say it. You guys got to forgive me. Babe, I'm sorry. All right. But that dude is freshman of the year in our league. You know, that's not to take away from P.J. Haggerty. But what people don't realize is P.J. Haggerty was a redshirt freshman. He has spent a year in college already. Give Jaden Reed a year in college where he doesn't have to play. All he can do is practice every day, work every day, lift every day. Come on, man, you're going to be a dude.
Haggerty also played 8 games.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, there you go. But I don't say that to take away from Haggerty. Haggerty's a heck of a player. He whooped our butt, you know, that last regular season game. But when you talk about freshman of the year, we're talking about a guy that hadn't played a game, you know, coming into this season. He, like Jaden Reed, was the American Conference freshman of the year in my eyes, I thought.
You haven't played the last 16, 17 minutes without Jose in the second half, and it kind of twisted his ankle late in the first half. How different was the offense and the entire team kind of without him the last 16, kind of letting Jaden go?
Well, they're two different type of players. What Jose brings, you know, I thought his ability to make shots and make plays in the first half kept us in it. You know, because I thought at one point VCU they could have stretched that lead a little bit, but Jose made some big time shots. He made some timely passes that got us easy baskets. But obviously with Jaden in the game, the tempo is much faster. You get a lot more paint touches because it's hard to keep that little joker out the paint. And I just thought, like, with the way the game was going, we needed ball movement, we needed body movement, and when we can put Jaden in the game and get paint touches, you know, we get a lot of, I think, clean. We get more. Our looks are more clean.
Coach, one of the more impressive things this year was the relationship with you and Selton, and man, your heart goes out to the kid. Man, he makes the basket. He's unable to hit the free throw. What do you say to a kid like that who he gave you everything he had and it just wasn't falling for him, and now it's just like, that's probably more important coaching than anything you could tell him to do on a basketball court, like how to handle a situation like this. Is that right?
No, 100%. But you know, it's part. Man, I don't want this to sound harsh, but man, it's part of life, man. You know, it's part of life. But what he does after that, you know, I thought more importantly, I told him, I said, man, you better walk with your head high. You know, you walk the number of games he's helped us win this year, right? And the thing I love about this group more than anything was when he missed that free throw, all 4 of those guys on the court, next play, man, don't worry about it, let's go. That's what it's about. That wouldn't have happened on November, whatever our 8th or 9th, whatever our first game was. That wouldn't have happened the middle of December. You know, that tells me, you know what, man, we did a good job. Again, don't get me wrong. I know the championships are fun, but coaching is so much bigger, man, than X's and O's. It's so much bigger than what you draw up out of a timeout. Can you get the most out of a person? You know, the dude I'm proud of, and we don't get to talk about him enough, but it's like, man, Corey Walker Jr., man, like, oh my God, like just to see him be able to play at the level he played, you know, and be happy. You know, the number of times that dude said, man, I love this team. You know, for him to be able to find joy in playing the game again, that's coaching, in my opinion.
Coach James Hill with ABC 7.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on all your success. The game of basketball, these young men get an education. They get you're building winners in life.
Yes, sir.
Leader of men. Just talk a little bit about, and you guys are winning games.
Yes, sir.
Just talk a little bit about what's going on around here. It's successful.
Yeah, it starts at the top. You know, President Law. You know, and Will Weatherford, Jay Stroman, Michael Griffin. You know, our vice president of athletics back there, Michael Kelly, and his team. They just do a great job of giving us the resources and the things that we need to help build winners in life. You know, the fact that we get to teach, you know, these guys get to learn life through a game. You know, I tell them all the time, you know, be grateful, be thankful. You know, there are kids your age, you know, that are fighting wars, protecting this country, you know, and you talk about real life, you know, let's keep things in perspective. So you miss a free throw, right? Okay, man, like you missed the free throw, all right? Get in the gym tomorrow, make 100, make 50, whatever it is, and let's move on. You know, but again, I always felt like this growing up. I told this story. When I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old, man. We go through the regular season championship in the East Point, you know, Biddy Ball League at Sumner Park, Jefferson Gym, Charles A. Green, right in Atlanta. And we go 14-0, man. My dad was my coach. And so to win the championship, all we had to do was win one game. Man, we lost both, right? My junior year of high school, we 28-2 going into the state tournament. We're 1 in the state, like 9th or 10th in the country, man. We get beat first round, right? College, man, we win the share of the regular season championship, up 7, I think it was, with like 50 seconds left. In the semifinals of the conference tournament, we lose the UTSA. So for the longest, man, I thought I was just snake bitten, like I wasn't gonna have no success, you know. And it wasn't until I became a coach and I was a GA I was an assistant at Murray State, and we win the OVC, and I was like, oh, all right, breakthrough, right? And like just that success in my mid-20s, man, it gave me so much confidence, you know, to be who I was and stand firm and be true to like who I was. The fact that these guys get to witness to have that success at such a young age, right? And I think they're proud of their team GPA being a 3.0 in the fall. It just drives them to want that feeling more and more. You know, like Chris says it best, man, coach, man, there ain't nothing like climbing up on that ladder, man, cutting that net down. I said, see why you think that's fun? You just wait. Right, and he'll know what I'm talking about, and prayerfully he'll call me like, Coach, yeah, you were right, because I'm sitting back there. I get to my kids, man. Like it ain't like you think cutting down nets are fun, man. Wait till you hold your son or your daughter for the first time. You know, wait till you meet that girl that makes you a better man, that pushes you to be better, man. And I'm so blessed. I'm fortunate, man. My wife, man, she pushes me to be a better man. She pushes me, you know, like it's funny. Like we'll go home and she'll say, man, like you gotta be a little bit more patient with such and such. No, you gotta be more patient. All right, one day you're gonna want somebody to be patient with Aiden. Like, yeah, you're right. So that's when it gets fun. That's the fun part.
Coach, 3 guys that came with you from Kennesaw between Stroud, CY, Jennings. What'd you learn about those 3 this year? Because they took a huge leap of faith to come here with you and start to rebuild this program. What'd you learn about them?
They were exactly who I thought they were. They were exactly who. When I talked to LaDonna Youngblood and Dupree Youngblood, when I talked to Keisha Stewart and Vernon, he's gonna get mad I called him Vernon, but Vernon Jennings. When I talked to Christy Jones and Derek Stroud about this, like they're exactly who I thought they were. They were 3 kids. Again, when I recruited them at Kennesaw, I thought all 3 of them could play at a higher level. There wasn't a question in my mind. The best compliment or the funniest thing I heard all week was I was talking to a buddy of mine from Villanova, named Ashley Howard. Ash is he's such a great dude. Ash used to be the head coach at LaSalle, but he's a national champion. And he's watching, I guess he watched our Central Florida game, and he goes, "Man, you had Youngblood at Kennesaw State with you?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Man," he was like, "You a bad dude." And I just started laughing. I know what he meant, and the crazy part is, man, people hadn't even had the chance to see Kasean Jennings yet. You talk about a dude, like he a dude, and then Brandon's, man, he's grown so much. But what it tells me, man, one, that my relationship is right with him. That I treat him the right way. I'm fair, but I hold him accountable. And those are, 3 guys. They crave that accountability. They want to get better, and so it just it just solidified everything I knew about him. And I'm grateful and fortunate that they trusted me.
Coach, this may be an unfair question right now, but has it hit you yet that some of these guys you've coached for the last time?
Yeah, it does. Because you don't want it to hit. You don't want it to end that way. It's like I told Jose Placer, like, people don't give him enough credit. Jose Placer left North Florida where he knew exactly what his role would be. He knew exactly, what every day would look like for him. And came here and he trusted us. He said, "Man, I want to be a part of that culture you guys had. I want to win a championship." And we're talking about a guy that went from averaging, I think Jose averaged like 16 or 17 points a game, something like that last year. He shot it probably somewhere between 10 and 15 times a game. He knew he was going to play 30 minutes a game or whatever it was, and he came here and he bought into what we were doing. And because of that, we were blessed with his leadership, his ability, and it helped us win a championship for the first time in school history, a regular season championship for the first time in school history. So it hurts me that I don't get to coach him again, but I will, because like I said to him in the locker room, "Man, you got me for life. I'm gonna still be coaching you even though it's not on the court, and then we'll see what happens with the rest of the roster, because Case Pryor and Selton McGill, they really helped themselves, and I've had a number of scouts call me throughout the year asking about them, and we'll see what the feedback is, and we'll go from there. But the one thing I say this humbly, the one thing you can count on is we're gonna put a team out on that floor that's competitive, that's prepared to win, and that's gonna be about South Florida. They're gonna be about what's on the front of their jersey.
Coach, Kasean as well as CY, they talked a little bit about the lessons that you taught them this year. What are some of the lessons that you learned while coaching this group?
Yeah, again, it's the lesson I think every coach should learn every year, man, is to be the example. Don't be what you preach, man. Be exactly what you preach. Because what I've learned from this group is if I'm consistent in my habits, if I'm consistent with my attitude, and I'm not too high or too low, they'll follow me, And what I learned, I'll tell you this, one thing that I learned from Kasean Pryor, and I was hard and tough on Kasean Pryor, but what I learned is that as hard as you are on them, man, you got to love them and praise them just as much when they do well. Because they'll keep buying into it. What I learned from Chris Youngblood is something I know already, but it's just a great reminder every day, man, to trust the process, put your time in, work at your craft. And what I learned from Jaden Reed every day, man, is no matter what, smile. It ain't that serious. Yeah, I know, young fella, but it is. But I'm a smile through it, So I learned a lot, I'm always trying to grow, man. I'm always trying to grow. I'm constantly looking for growth, and I got to figure out a way. You know, we set a standard this year. Now I got to figure out a way to raise that standard without them thinking it's not enough, if that makes sense. You know, we gotta raise the standard again.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, I know you don't like to speak on the future too much, but is there like any excitement towards the first and second year players you have right now?
Oh, for sure. Like towards Jaden and those guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, I can't wait to get back in the gym. I know it sounds crazy. My wife is going to strangle me because I said that, but because she's going to want me to rest, guys, and I will. I promise I'll recharge my battery. But, like, as fun as the season is, guys, the work is put in when nobody's looking. The work is put in, like we'll get back in there in a couple weeks. Yeah, we'll get back there in a couple weeks. And, man, I can't wait to see Jaden Reed. I can't wait to see his body change. Wait till you see him next year, you know, when he's 6'1", 185. And like now when he driving, when them dudes put two hands on him, he ain't going this way, like he delivering the blow. You know, I can't wait to see Daniel Tobaloba, man. And, like, if y'all would have saw him 3 days ago in practice, ooh, it's going to be fun with that big boy over the next couple of years, you know. But then I can't wait to, like, you know, yes, you get excited about the first and second year guys, but, man, y'all thought Chris Youngblood was good this year. Man, that dude has gotten better every year he's been in college. It's about to be scary how good he can become, you know. So, yeah, I do. I'm going to take some time to recharge my battery, and I'm going to take some charge to reflect. I'm going to take some time to reflect and appreciate what we've been able to do this year. Because there's too many times coaches, you go through the season and it's like, boom, all right, you got to move on to the next thing. I'm going to make sure I take time and reflect on what we've been able to accomplish, because I won't be able to raise that standard if I don't think back on what we were able to do, how we were able to grow.
Thank you.
And I don't want to get
A lot of
strangled.
people sleep on the NIT. It's been around for a number of years, and it's important.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the NIT? It's March basketball. It's postseason play.
No, it's one of the most prestigious tournaments right out there. Okay, before we played our game at UCF, I made sure to print off the teams that have played in the NIT, the players that have played in the NIT, and I said to our guys, man, if it was good enough for this dude and this team, it's good enough for you and it's good enough for us. I talked about the coaches that have coached in the NIT. Like, I'm not like, yeah, I was disappointed that we didn't get in the tournament, but not for a second am I gonna hang my head when we have an opportunity to continue to play meaningful games in March and grow and learn, you know. And so I just think, man, again, I don't want to be on no soapbox or nothing, but I'm gonna just say I gotta be who I am, man. I'm sorry, but like, we a few years back when all this stuff started going on with like the portal and these kids were opting out of, like, the football players were opting out of bowl games and everybody was up and, oh, he's opting out, Now we got universities, we got coaches opting out of an opportunity for their team to continue to play. What a joke, man. What a joke. It's the reason why things the way they are now, because, you know, we won't continue to be the example. It's a joke. They can blast this all over they want. Again, I've only been a head coach now. This is my fifth year, babe. Yeah, my fifth year, right? And they'll say, "Oh, young dude." Yeah, whatever, man. Like, don't get mad at the players because they opt out. If as universities we're gonna opt out. The other thing I want to say is this, all right, and don't get mad at me, MK. All right. The only other thing I'll say is this. You know, in that first round game against UCF, and it was such a fun game to be a part of. But, like, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice too when we let teams opt out in those Power 5 conferences, and then all of a sudden you just want to give it to the next team in their conference. No, don't give it to them. Give it to somebody who wants to play, somebody who's deserving to play. Like, we're sending the wrong message, man. We're in higher education, and we're sitting up here giving people stuff, man. No, like, give it to somebody who earned it, who wants to play. Like, it's backwards. It's backwards. It's not basketball I grew up on. It's not like, you know, I grew up watching Coach Thompson in Georgetown. You know, I grew up watching Coach Thompson in Georgetown. And like I remember his in-home visit with my brother. It was the only one I sat through where I stayed awake. You know, the rest of them was boring because he was talking, like I didn't know it. I was 13, but he was talking real talk. He was talking life, you know, and I stand on the shoulders of giants. John Thompson, Nolan Richardson, John Chaney, you know, I stand on the shoulders of giants. So, you know, it's why I put my suit back on, you know, because it's time to go to work, right? I want to be that example. But again, I didn't mean to get on the soapbox or anything like that. But again, man, I just think we're doing these guys, these young people a disservice by, you know, doing things the way we are. We got to be better.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Hey, thank you guys for being here this year, man. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
All right,
Very much
absolutely.
so.
Thank you.
Thank you.